Hello, everyone. This week I've got such a lovely lady who I met a couple of months ago, and she is just fantastic. It's Rebeca Perea. She works with her husband Matt and is a relationship coach and therapist. So, Rebecca helps people in their relationships with any challenges. She helps them understand the challenges and then gives them the tools and able to work forward in their relationship and not become reliant on other people. So, Rebecca, thank you so much for being on the show. I've been looking forward to this so much.
My pleasure, Emma. It's a pleasure to be here with you in your podcast and a pleasure to have met you as well. I must say that now, from my point of view, I got an amazing, lovely friend, not just a business mate.
Yes, we clicked straight away, didn't we? It's lovely. It's lovely to see a friendly face.
Thank you.
And did I miss anything? Tell me about what you do with couples and individuals as well.
Mm. I work with my super amazing, deliberately manifested husband, Matt Alvigues, and we work together with couples and with individuals, men and women, to to help them to understand the relationship challenges that they're going through and how they've got themselves to those situations, and also we give them the tools for transformation so they use them, so we empower them rather than keeping them stuck, coming to us, keeping them dependent all the time, like some people can do. And we have a system, a process that we take them through from the beginning to the end, and they know that there is a deadline, and that time frame of time is where they can go all out to use the tools, so they have their inner shifts that they already have with the process that we take them through, and also to use them and use them and use them the whole time during the whole process. Any questions that they have, we're here, and at the end of the process, well, what can I say? If you want to know more, go to our website, alignwithlove.net, and there is a page full of videos, video testimonials from our lovely people who have done the work and now they're enjoying the rewards.
It's a great website. I've been on your website. It's a lovely website. And hats off to you for working with in relationships. I don't think I could do that. And I'm sure everybody's thinking as well how brave you are working with your husband. I don't know how you do that either.
Well,
I'm sh-
it's nice that it's nice to see that sometimes people come to us to help, to asking for help, and they are both committed to each other and to understand what is happening, and to move on together. That's really, really lovely to see. And it doesn't happen sometimes. I work with women, Matt works with men because the other partner is not invested. So that can also be a good thing. I always say to my clients, the ladies, if your partner doesn't want to do it, maybe you need to reintroduce yourself and show him how now you are choosing yourself. He may not be choosing you, but you can choose yourself. And as you choose yourself, I guarantee you, Emma, most of the time, their partners start choosing them now as well.
that's brilliant. And
Sometimes you can do this work yourself. You don't need your partner to do this work, but if you do it together, it works as well.
yeah, and I think thinking about it, as you said, sometimes partners don't want to work on it. That if you go to see somebody like yourself, you could have that realization that your partner doesn't want to change, doesn't want to work, and that can give you strength to either leave the relationship or that motivation to work on it. So it could give you a new lease of life, even if it means the end of an old relationship. It could be something really positive for you in yourself.
Totally,
So
Emma, because let me tell you, total honesty. People who have chosen to work on themselves, even when their partners have chosen to not to work with their partners, what happens is that they realize that actually they've been doing some things that have been sabotaging their relationships, and now they change themselves, and that influences their partners who chose to not to do any work on themselves, and now all of a sudden their partners are very scratching their heads wondering, what are you doing differently now? I like you, I want to be more with you. And now they say the other partner who didn't want to work, they're saying to the partner who did the work, what are you doing? I want to do it with you. Can we work together now? And many times I got a WhatsApp from a lady saying, "Oh, Rebecca, you don't know what's happening. My partner now wants to do the program. Would you mind if I do it again, this time with him?" And I'm like, of course. I knew this was gonna happen. It happens a lot. It also can happen that you do the work and then you realize that now you are in a much better place than before. You do realize how you've contributed to the relationship because you've do the relationship breakdown, because you've been doing the things that were sabotaging the relationships, or because you were allowing things that you didn't want to go along with in the first place. And now you change, you are more connected to yourself. Like I say, your favorite person, you become your favorite person that you're not gonna sabotage ever again or betray. And sometimes it happens that we realize that, you know what? Thank you for showing me what I didn't, what I could not see. And by the way, I love you, and I'm not gonna choose you anymore as a partner.
Yeah,
And to be honest, that's a lovely breakup. It's a lovely
yes,
breakup because there's no relationship failing unless you don't learn anything from that relationship. That's a relationship failure. But if you learn something about yourself from it, that's a blessing. And really, like I've read something, one of my best friends have sent me something to the WhatsApp a while ago, and it says something that the biggest assholes sometimes are our biggest teachers. And so,
definitely. Yeah, I completely agree. And I'm just thinking, because I want to ask you about how all this started. But before I forget, I'm just thinking we all need to work on ourselves, and therapy is really, really important for growth, as you said. So I would imagine that having relationship counseling before it gets to the point where you really, really, really need it would be a real big benefit for people to stop it getting to that level when there's no communication, and then frustrations and resentments begin. It's gone too far then. So would you say having therapy on and off while you're still at a good point?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, there are a few things here. First of all, with all my respect, most of people that come to us to work with us have already had counseling before, and it didn't work for them. For the vast majority of people that come to us having had counseling before, it didn't work for them. And for a minority of people who have had counseling before, they said that it did help them a lot. However, after working with us, they said that they had much more growth and transformation in the very short time that we work with people than in many months and sometimes people years that they've done counseling. So I'm not saying that we are amazing, although I know that we are amazing. But really, it's all about people doing their work. They are amazing. What I'm saying is that in general, counseling, it doesn't really give good results, and it's because in counseling what people do is just talking about the problem, and the more you talk about the problem, the more you create more of that. Unless some counselors have other modalities, that's amazing. Then maybe those counselors are doing great. But just counseling by itself, I tell you, it's so superficial and it's not really good because you're focusing on the problem. You're never gonna solve the problem with the same mindset that you created it, basically. Yeah. And
Yeah,
yes, it's so important, Emma, that before we reach that rock bottom, that people come to us saying we are on the rocks, make or break. This is our last resort. Before you get to that point, please, we don't learn relationships at school. So why do people feel so much shame about just reaching out for help to Matt and Rebecca from Align with Love? Honestly, because if we take our car to the MOT, why don't we take ourselves to our own MOT? Honestly, we go and do our nails just to end up with broken nails like people, even weaker and destroyed. People spend so much money in stuff, but they really what they're doing is to put a wallpaper on a crack in the wall, on the crack in the wall, and really
yeah,
covering the cracks, brushing under the carpet, and it doesn't solve the problem. And move on. Let's get another holidays, expensive holiday, just to get another row. you
yeah,
know let's another glass of wine to numb the pain. But until
yeah,
you don't feel the pain, you're not gonna heal it, because the way out, there's no way out. The only way out is through the feeling, and we try to avoid the feelings. So just please, like you go to the hairdresser, just go to a very good job in your relationship, even without us, or wherever you want to go. Make sure you find a proper one. But really, honestly, before you get to that point, because when you get to that point, the resentment is so deep. Resentment corrodes relationships. It runs through the blood of the relationship. It's very hard sometimes to recover. And even though we have worked with people who had actually split up, but they're lovely people, just trying to do their best and not really understanding relationships, how they work. And really, they come to us saying, we want to be good parents beyond our relationships. We've got kids. And what happens is that because they come with that humility and they are coachable, because we're relationship coaches, we're not relationship counselors, and we also do therapy, because they come with the mindset of being humility, being humble, and wanting to look at themselves to understand what is it about them that been doing wrong. Um, because of that mindset, and they are very coachable, they really turn things around. And beyond being co-parents, they go back. It happens sometimes. It can happen. And yeah, so don't wait. Just make yourself a favor. Go to the hairdresser of Matt and Rebecca.
I love that. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a big believer in coaching and therapy. I'm not a fan of counseling. I think counseling has its time and place, but exactly what you said, it keeps people in the past, it keeps people in that pain, and you need to let it out. You need to talk to somebody about that pain before you can move on, but let it out to a counselor or whoever, and then coach therapy towards all the positive things that you've got to look forward to and embrace life instead of just living in that pain. So
That's
I
right.
completely agree. But please, Rebecca, tell me how you got into all of this.
Well, it was through a lot of pain. Yes. When I came to this country 15 years ago, I lived in London, first of all. I was trying to heal my relationship with my family. And in doing that, we're going to hypnotherapists, different NLP, neuro-linguistic programming therapists. I had the best therapists, really. I'm grateful to the lovely people that helped me. And I was trying to heal myself from all this resentment and frustration and hurt and betrayal and a lot of things, that I went through. And and in doing so, I kept attracting the wrong partners. And I was always looking for love in the in the wrong places. I was really a love addict. So I'm a perfect fit for your podcast, right? My addiction, I was always saying, oh, I'm a good girl. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, blah, blah, blah. So proud, I don't do that. But actually, I was a love addict,
You were going after
honestly.
the bad boys.
Totally. I love the bad boys. Those guys made me feel very attracted to them. Oh my God, And I had a lot of attraction for them, sexual attraction, but I didn't feel safe and I didn't feel loved. So why was I going through so much sex and I didn't get what I wanted? I wanted love. I wanted hugs. I wanted kisses. I wanted lovely arms around me, holding me and making me feel safe and wanted, not sexually, but like as a person, love. And I didn't find it. It was bad. I felt really like a toy, like a sex toy. And also, and thanks God, I got a nice body and okay, and like that would make things worse because I always, well, now I know as a relationship coach, I wasn't attracting very bad boys because of my body, but actually because of my feminine energy. I'm very feminine. And I was very not vulnerable because vulnerability is good. It's power. Vulnerability is power. But I was very weak because I needed more masculine energy. Really. To put boundaries, to set boundaries, to say no, to know what I want, to have a direction in life and even in relationship. This is what I want and this is what I'm not going to tolerate. I didn't have that. So I kept attracting the wrong guys, bad guys, and having sex, a lot of sex, honestly, so much crap. But but I didn't feel loved and safe. And then I also, on the other hand, when I had enough of the bad guys, I decided, Emma, what is going on? Let me try the nice guys. And with the nice guys, I did feel safe and loved. I really felt they were my best friends, but I didn't feel sexually attracted to them.
Yeah.
And now that was another problem because every night or every time we meet, the man wants to be fed. And if you don't feed him, someone else will. So, and also it's very cruel. Like some people do, they start their partners as a punishment. I'm not gonna do that. And so to meet their to help them meet their needs, for me that was very important, and that's a feminine quality. I really wanted to please them. It really makes me happy, and I wanted to have that, to be pleased as well. I wanted to have that sexual connection with them, but I just felt nothing at all, really, like brothers and sisters. And that was a problem as well because as I didn't have my masculine energy to say no, it broke my heart to say no. It took a lot of strength and I kept having sex, really prostituting myself just for having a best friend that gave me that protection and strength that I didn't have myself. I wasn't giving myself. So it was really at that point when I said, you know what? Forget, I don't want a partner. And then I started to be single for once, for once. And I found myself, Emma, I found myself. And I became very curious to understand what's going on in relationships. I'm curious. Now I want to know. And it's not because I want a partner. I don't need a partner anymore. And I don't even want it right now. I'm loving being, enjoying the single life in London. And I started to read and do trainings and courses online. At that point I had already become a therapist because I was healing myself and I found it so fascinating that I wanted to learn. And then it was just how that's how I became doing this. And then one day doing one of my trainings and not looking for any partner, I met a guy, but then I started to have the same problems again. So what is going on? So then I decided, you know what? Now I want to have a partner after a period of time being single. But I'm gonna do it consciously. I'm gonna consciously, deliberately manifest my partner, my dream partner. And now I'm very exquisite because I don't need a partner, but I want to have a lovely partner that I can share everything I've learned, everything that I love, my personal growth, all these interesting conversations about, about personal development. I want to have that partner and I want a psychologist. That's how sharp I was aiming. I
I
want
love
a
that.
psychologist because if I go crazy again and I do dodgy things, I want him to call me out. That's it. I know Emma is funny because in the past I wanted a partner who could fix my computer. That's how manipulative and calculated I was. But this time I'm like, no, that's cheap. I'll pay someone. I want a psychologist. I know what I'm like. I'm gonna need a psychologist. and and I had my vision boards. I was doing all the work that I need. I knew I was an expert in the law of attraction, manifestation. For years, that was one of my favorite topics. And anyways, long story short, I met Matt in a hotel doing my NLP training. And
Wow.
he's not a psychologist, but he was a coach and he was a master NLP practitioner. So I thought, I'm going to say yes. This one works for me. And
That's
he decided to create
amazing.
Align with Love together. That's how we started.
That is so lovely. That is a great story. And I bet there's so much that people listening to this will pick up and identify with. The using sex for validation. I mean, I know so many people that just because they're craving that love and they don't know how to get it, and that's the easiest way they find of validating who they are.
Yeah.
And that touch, compassion, the hugs, they're the most important things, that closeness with somebody. Touch is so, so important. And also, you said about, um, there was touched, you said so much, and I just identify with it all because my first husband, it was before I really got into addiction, but he was lovely. He was a gentleman. He would iron my clothes, he would cook, he would nothing was a problem. I could go out, it was fine. There was no jealousy, no control. And I got bored and I got divorced because he wanted to settle down, have the family. And I couldn't have asked for a better looking, kind, generous man. And I just couldn't cope. I could not cope. So I got divorced. And then I went through all these terrible relationships. And I sometimes was sat there thinking, oh, I wish I had him back. I wish I had him back. But I knew I'd be bored and I wasn't satisfied. Um, and I just find us as humans crazy.
We can be.
So I think so many people will identify with that, Rebecca.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Emma. Yeah, definitely. It happens a lot, really. And when we have sex with a partner that we don't want to have sex with, maybe because of the partner, maybe because there's no attraction there, maybe because we've had a tough day, whatever reason. I want to say it, I want to mention it. That I call it self-rape.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to say that because if everyone is listening, that's what it is, self-rape. So many times, this happens in relationships, rape or abuse or molestation or something like that. These things happen in families as well. But how many times do we do that to ourselves?
Saying no is so across the board, whether it's giving somebody a lift or cooking somebody dinner when you don't want to having sex, to whatever it is, having boundaries and that word no are so powerful. And when you start using them, you can feel the power within you and that confidence building. And it can be so difficult at the beginning, but so
Yeah.
very, very important for our own self-esteem and
Mm-hmm.
mental health.
Totally. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
important. Oh, that's amazing. So how long have you and Matt worked together now?
7 years together, doing relationships together in align with love. So our baby is 7 years. And I've been a therapist for 10 years now.
So as therapists yourself, as we know, coaches have like supervision and go and see other people. Do you go and see other people as well?
For sure. I got my mentors, my teachers, and I also do some training. Sometimes I pay for myself all the time. Investment in personal growth is my top expense. And it's not an expense, it's an investment because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's so fascinating. I got business coaches as well, people who train us, who teach us how to do the marketing, how to do the sales, because we got a business, right? So we can help people. And as a therapist, oh, Emma, this fascinates me. It doesn't matter if you are on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or if you do newsletter, or if you go to networking events, if you do in-person events, if you do online events, which by the way, we do everything. But it doesn't really matter the business strategy. Do you know what the big strategy is? Yourself. Really. And I tell you this honestly, to the degree that you grow the muscle of fearlessness that you have, to that degree, your business will grow.
Amazing. Yeah, completely with you on that. So, two things I think before we start to wrap up. With addiction or with any families, if somebody's enters into recovery, excuse me, they're going to be a new person. Whether you've met that person and they've always been addicted and now they're sober, they're a completely different person, or whether that you've seen them change over the year as their addiction has taken hold, there's going to be a big, big change for both sides in the relationship. And the same if there's been a death or anything in the family, depression can come in and partners can change and maybe not know how to deal with each other. What would you say when those big life events happen, when big changes in families happen and you're struggling to talk to them because maybe you don't know who they are anymore, or just things are just so different?
Yeah, Emma. Yes, I hear you. Yes. So life events are happening all the time, the whole time. And also we go through different life stages as well. And also, when shit hits the fan, we most of the time we don't have the resources to deal with that. And so, what can I say? Working on yourself is the most important thing, the most productive thing that you can do. And so, communication is so foundational for any relationship. Healthy, loving communication, effective communication. Because, as Matt says always, people do know how to communicate, they just don't want to communicate because they have um, different gains in the game that they don't want to lose. So it's not that we don't know how to communicate, we just don't want to communicate. He doesn't get it. No, he does get it. He doesn't want to get it. Or she. And you need to challenge those things. Well, I do this with the clients, it can be scary sometimes. I'll tell you, Emma, but you do because people pay you, you do your job. So what I'm saying is that communication is important, and also, Emma, that every single day when we wake up and we see our partner's face, we're choosing them. Every day we're choosing them. We are choosing and choosing and choosing again. And sometimes we may decide that we're not choosing them anymore. It doesn't mean that we don't love them. It means that we choose to not to choose them anymore. And because of that, if we are aware of this, we would be willing to constantly be looking at ourselves every day with humility and curiosity to really make sure that we don't blame our partners for our emotions that we don't like to feel, the no negative but the uncomfortable emotions. We don't blame our partners, but we look at ourselves and we take charge of those emotions and see where they come from or what we can do with them. Because the truth is it's never our discomfort, our relationship challenges, or our work challenges, our challenges with our children. They're never, ever about the other person. They're always about ourselves. And if we're
Yes.
humble and if we're curious, we can find out and we transform those feelings. So maybe people don't change, but we do change the way we look at those people. And that causes us to change the way we feel towards those people. And then we make the choice, shall I stay or shall I go? But if I stay, I choose to stay with love, being a loving partner, and always working on myself so I can provide the best gift that I can be to my partner. And so I'm saying that there are life changes, there are life stages, and with with an effective communication and an attitude of humility and curiosity, there is no shit that we cannot overcome together. And about communication, I can tell you, Emma, that as I said, people do communicate. They just don't want to listen,
Yeah.
or they don't want to say certain things because of the fear, uh, because of the fear of the natural consequences of saying those things or of listening to certain things that are not convenient for them.
That's it. It goes back to it's saying, I feel that, and not saying you make me feel, because
I love
nobody
it.
can make you feel
No,
anything. And if you're in a place where you can't say how you're feeling, that's big red warning signs, as it is.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't have to
yeah.
go full in, but just start mentioning how you're feeling in yourself. And if this isn't being reciprocated or your needs are being cared for, then it's a red flag. Either therapy or separation, I think, is the way.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Our relationship challenges can be an opportunity to become a better person, the person that has the life and the relationship and the partner that we deserve. But for that, we need to be aligned with love rather than aligned with fear.
And love for ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah, as much as to our partners.
Yeah,
Because when we start a relationship, it's not me anymore. It's me and my partner, which means us. It's me and us. It's not just us, and it's not just me. It's me and us.
definitely. I absolutely love that, Rebecca. It's fantastic. And I love listening to you. I love all your knowledge and your suggestions. It's just wonderful to hear from you. And it's lovely to hear a bit about your story as well, because I could really, really identify with it. And I'm sure a lot of people can. A lot of
That's
people.
right, Emma. Yeah, yeah. It is true that we have a lot of experience. Well, 10 years experience combined. So Matt has, you can say, 20 years experience. We've learned a lot. I am also. I haven't told you about my other addiction that I'm never going to overcome because I don't want to, and it's that I'm a junkie of personal development. I love keep working on myself all the time, really. And yeah. So I'm not saying, I don't know why I'm telling you this. Oh yeah, because I had more boyfriends that I can't even remember. I was such a love addict, really.
Yeah.
And it's not nice when you seek something and you don't find it. And I also feel sad and for all the lovely partners that I did have, but I didn't manage to make it because I was in a mess. They were lovely. I was just in a mess.
Yeah, and that was like me and my first husband. It was me. It was nothing that he had done. He was a wonderful guy, and I'll always think he's a lovely guy. Um, and I wholeheartedly hope that he's happy. He was desperate for kids, and I do think about him, and I think I really hope that he's got a lovely wife, that he's got those kids running around, and that he's really happy. But it wasn't. It wasn't. It was me that was a mess. And it was me that needed to get sorted out. Whether it would have worked or not anyway, I have no idea. But I know I needed to divorce and I know I needed to be by myself. So I just
That's
hope
right.
he's happy.
Well, I'm very proud of you, Emma. I'm very, very excited about the interview that I'm gonna do to you next time. And I really can't wait. Because many people that come to us use alcohol to numb their pains, their feelings. And instead of allowing themselves, giving themselves permission to feel their feelings, to heal them, to give them love, to be curious about what the message is that my body is giving me. Where is it taking me? What do I need? What do I need to see that I'm not willing to see? If people allow themselves to do that, to process their emotions, instead of numbing them with alcohol or distractions like the mobile, the gym, or too much sex, sometimes people say, oh, we have too much sex, it works. No, it's not. It's not. You're distracting yourself. And by the way, you're gonna have another baby and you don't even know what you want. Then it's like, so oh good luck. Anyway, so well, don't know what I was saying. That's my flowing.
Well, no, well, it's not funny, but the amount of people that I've met and worked with that have never had sex sober, and that can be one of their biggest fears is being intimate with somebody without a substance in them. And it's, I know one of the first times I got sober was my fear was going on holiday. So how do people go on holiday without having a drink and having fun? So there's so many different, excuse me, there's so many different areas of um, emotions that come up from sex to activities, the confidence, finding love. There's so much within addiction that people are fearful of. So this is a huge one, relationships and intimate relationships. So if you think about everything that somebody in recovery has got to relearn or learn for the first time, without a substance, it can be overwhelming. So those little, not little things, but saying no, working on yourself, all these things, speaking with a therapist, they're all going to help and help you move forwards and not be scared of everything that life can throw at you. So
That's
I
right. Yeah, Emma,
what
yeah.
a
I do
brilliant
feel for
point.
people. I do feel for people. Some people are so insecure. They have certain problems. When I came to London for the first time, I haven't told you this, I came with 20 pounds and a single flight, like no return, because I had 20 pounds. That's all I had.
Wow.
And the flight was paid by one of my ex-boyfriends that I left. He also bought me an MP3 to listen to my music because he thought she's gonna need it. She likes to listen to music. And my sister gave me the 20 euros. That's it. And I'm telling you this because I managed to make a life by myself. And but I was still so scared of being alone in London. I was so scared of being lonely. And this is why I always, let me tell you this very briefly. I was always looking for love. You know why? I told you this the other day. Because this constant seek for love, for someone to complete me. I'm not saying this is the problem that people have if they resonate with me, but it could be one of the possible causes. It was because I had a twin. When my mom was pregnant, I had a twin. And that twin is called the evanescent twin, the lost twin. And I was never told. I don't even know if my mom knows, but I was never told. And I have discovered it through family constellations therapy. This is why I'm doing my training now, which I'm about to finish my 2 years training. Another, I told you as part of my addiction, and this has really healed the chronic depression that I had, and really even accidents, always wanting to kill myself, not taking up space, feeling guilty when I'm winning or when I achieve something because by default someone is losing or someone is not making it, and I'm always concerned about the vulnerable people, and I don't like to be competitive. I like to be cooperative because I don't like to win because if I win, someone will lose. So since I have healed all those things, now I'm more competitive and I want to have fun competition, but in a loving way, also with myself, competing with myself to be my best self. But I'm saying this that because of that I didn't even know. I was always unconsciously looking for my lovely twin. Robbie, I call him. I think he was a boy. That's a story there. But anyways. And I was looking for that in my partners, in my romantic partners. And
Yeah.
I will never find anyone like my lovely twin. But anyways, I found the winner, which is Matt, and he's amazing. So it's so important to really go to the root cause rather than numbing the pain. It doesn't help. It
Yeah.
just grows stronger. What you resist persists 10 times stronger. It doesn't get better. It just doesn't get better. It's only when the pain is so unbearable that people call Matt and Rebecca.
Yeah. Yeah. And they don't need to leave it that late. I think we know when things aren't right, don't we? It's within us. We know, but we are so good. Well, I'm very good at it, and I think a lot of people with trauma and pain are good at just saying, not facing that today. It doesn't matter. I'll just continue with my days. If everything's normal, just get on with life. And it's that story of like a coffee cup. You can hold it and it just fills and fills and fills with everything that you're pushing down or not facing, not dealing with. And one day that cup just overflows and we explode or we completely withdraw. And we think, how has it got to that point where we know we've been pushing everything down or ignoring everything? So, with work little and often, it helps keep that level of the coffee cup down so we can manage it and it doesn't overflow. So, I think that's so important. And do you know what? I love that story of your twin. It's so beautiful and so sad. And I'm so pleased that you found out about that because I think it's given you something beautiful in life. And I'm trying to find the words because I just think it's lovely. And now that you've done work further on it, you've embraced it and you found another part of you, which I think is just amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Emma. Yeah, look, I'm not crying. I'm actually good. I've already cried enough. And it was really cathartic to find that out, really. It was, wow. The first time I heard of that phenomenon, I resonated immediately. Can you see the resonance straight away? I've never read a book so quickly than The Lost Twin.
Wow.
So quickly. So Matt was like, "What are you doing? What are you reading? Leave me alone. I need to finish."
And up here, we know subconsciously, we know, and when that is released, it's a really powerful thing. So that is amazing. Rebecca, thank you so, so much. I've got so much love for you, and it's just fantastic. And please tell us all where we can find you. I'm going to put all your links in and everything that you're doing and get it out there to the world because I just think you're amazing. So, where can we find you, my lovely?
So people can go to alignedwithlove.net and they can find everything they need in the website. They can also go to our Instagram and our Facebook page, Aligned with Love. And the links are in the website is the best way to go to our platforms through the website. And yeah, just send us a message, fill up the form in the website, send us a direct message through the social media platforms. And they can also find us in YouTube. And also, there is a link in our website to score your relationship. The scorecard score your relationship, which is quite handy for people to see where they are at and what their opportunities are and what their strengths are. And it's
I
free.
really like that. Keep it simple. It can really give you an idea, can't it? That's great. Really
That's
useful
right.
to have things like that.
Yeah. Also, Matt has written a book recently, which has become the fourth best book in personal development and relationships. It's called "Shall I Stay or Shall I Go?" And that's really a very good start. And you can find it in Amazon.
Fantastic. I'll be taking a look at that one. That's great. Yeah, I will put all your links in and just thank you so much, Rebecca. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure everyone listening will as well.
Thank you so much, Emma. It's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to interview you.
I can't wait.